Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. You are looking at not one, but two Singer 99Ks. The Singer 99, which I recently made a video of because I actually was able to purchase a Singer 99. And I honestly don't remember if I think I may have gotten it at a thrift store. I don't remember. And I have purchased it for the purposes of overhauling. On the right, you see one that someone said, here, take this, see if you can save it. And this is actually a video, not so much about the Singer 99. I've made many videos. I will continue to do so. You know that these are one of my tried and true old Ironsides basic machines that I really enjoy restoring. They are fantastic candidates. A really good friend of mine was gifted as a housewarming present one of these restored by yours truly because it was the right machine for that person. The reason this video is being made, however, is to talk to you about when you purchase a sewing machine. How much, I often get asked, well, how much should I pay? How much is a machine worth? Not the one you have, but the one you would potentially purchase. There are many factors that go into trying to figure out, well, you know, how much do I want to pay? You know, is it worth my money? Before you ask that question, I would suggest that we try to remember something whenever we're purchasing anything that is vintage. It doesn't matter what it is. Very often, let's say you purchase a vintage automobile, you can purchase a fixer-upper, right? Or you can purchase one that has been completely restored, or maybe one that's somewhere in between. The reason this is important to note is that you can purchase a vintage sewing machine and you may pay a little bit more for the one on the left, which I did. Obviously, anything is more than zero on the right. These are both the same machine. Both of their needle bars turn. Now that doesn't mean they're ready to sew, right? That's just a quick, we could have all sorts of issues going on with both of the machines. I've mentioned before that just because a machine looks beautiful aesthetically does not mean it is ready to run. You could have motor issues and mechanical issues, wiring issues, of course. And then this is always potentially what you're purchasing. However, it is helpful to note that generally, when you're purchasing something that is vintage, the better condition that it is in, the closer to mint that the item is in when you find it, you might pay a little bit more for it, but it actually might be a better buy, right? Why would you pay more? Because you're going to get more and have to give less. What does that mean? So let's suppose you have a choice between two sewing machines. This one is $40 to $50. These typically, or up to $75, even $100 they can go. Someone finds it, or they inherit it, or they found it in grandpa's attic and says, you know what, I don't know how to sew, but I want to find a new home for this machine. I often find vintage machines that need overhauling in this manner. Before you say no to the person and say, well, hey, this you want $75 for that, and I can find one over here for, $10 or free. Sometimes it's a little bit wiser to think first, because all vintage items require maintenance, and all of the machines that I touch go through a full restoration process, whether they look gorgeous or whether they look like they've had a rough life, like the one here on the right. Although I've seen far worse than this. So if you pay less for something that's in rougher shape, ask yourself, is it going to cost me more in parts if I need them? This machine did not come with a bobbin plate. This one did. It was loose, right? And bobbin plates for these machines are not difficult to find. You can get vintage ones, reproduction ones, but again, you have to go and find them. You have to pay for them, have them shipped. What about the, anything ranging from electrical cords, the motor, you really won't know until you've tested it. This particular one here, the hard luck case on the right, is missing one of the caps over the that goes over the brushes for the motor. That doesn't mean the motor's bad. It could be that someone said, hey, I wonder what this does, and they took it off. I've seen this before where the motor was good, but they had removed it. Now, what does this tell me? Someone had opened it. Maybe it could be fine, but I am going to go into my stash of salvage parts, which I made videos telling you all why sometimes it's helpful to salvage a machine. And I'm pretty sure I have a cap that will go on this, and then I will test it, right? I'll be testing to see if the motor is functional. And it's ironic because you can't always look at a machine in a photograph on a listing someone has on online somewhere and assume that it's going to run well. For example, this machine, the one that has really beautiful shine, a couple of places on the bed, but mostly the paint is really nice, which is how I often find them. Well, yes, it has its original plate. The chrome looks great. But of course, this is the machine that I have talked about that has the frayed cord. The cord, it needs to be replaced. It's got exposed wires, so I will be replacing that. Yes, that's a cost. However, the machine on the right, I know that it's missing a bobbin plate. I may have one, a spare. If I don't, I'll have to get one. This one over here has its, I think I showed you all in an earlier video, its original red oiling felt in the bobbin case area. That's just luck. I mean, I almost never, I think I've only found that one other time in the history of my restorations, going back how many years now? So we have that. So we have things going on. Ironically, the wiring on the one on the right is actually in much better shape. It needs a new foot pedal because the foot pedal that came with it, I was testing it excuse me, not the foot pedal that came with it. The foot pedal that came with this is fine. I misspoke. So what else do we see? I actually see a little bit of mildew here, which is very odd because mildew does not eat paint, nor does it eat metal, contrary to some popular opinions. However, mildew likes dust, and when you have moisture and dust, organic matter in the dust, you can get mildew. So what will I be doing? I will have to go over and clean this, remove the mildew without harming the finish. And so that is one of my chores. What else? Again, I have not actually gone in and done a full assessment of this machine, but just to let you know, and I'll zoom in here. You know, sometimes people, earlier machines, as you go back in time, did not have markings on the needle plate for when you were trying to sew an edge, right? So when you want to sew edges, you wanted to make sure you had a way to keep up with when you were doing a hem, basically, so that your hems, you knew what the space was. And people would often put tape on here, which disintegrates and can hurt the finish of the machine. It gets gummy and gooey. In this particular case, I just think this is kind of, when I say this machine has been bandaged, it is no joke. And when I first got this, I didn't even notice it. I was getting ready to make the video and I was like, wait a minute, this is a Band-Aid. Someone took a Band-Aid and then drew a line with probably an ink pen, I think, trying to, so they could get, again, their measurements for when they were trying to do the offset, because they had to allow for they had to allow for the hemming of the fabric, right? So I guess what I would like you to take from this video, amongst other things, is to remember that sometimes what looks like the better deal ends up being kind of a lot more work, a lot more time. And you know something, if there's one thing all people throughout history and to this very day have in common, we all have the same amount of hours in a day, 24. And so, again, I do this hobby I've done for a long time because I get so much satisfaction from it. I take anything I net from these machines, I simply buy more machines. And so it's important to remember, especially whether it's your own machine, which you may give more time to, or maybe you're getting into the hobby of restoring these wonderful old machines. And I hope many of you are inspired to do so by my and other sewing machine, vintage sewing machine YouTube channels other than mine. Maybe they inspire you to do that. But just remember, your time is precious. It's valuable. How you spend it, of course, is very subjective in terms of what you enjoy doing. But just keep in mind that sometimes paying a little more, right, you actually get more. Or in this case, you get less to do. Both machines will have to have a full going through, but just the cleaning and potentially finding, a plate. Again, I'm going to need to take the case and sit it out in the sun and try to fumigate it, because nobody wants a machine in a stinky case. I don't, at least not to own. But anyway, I just thought I would show this to you. Both of these machines, by the way, were made in the United Kingdom. The bodies were. They were shipped here to Canada. They would also ship them to the US. And the electrical, the motors, the cords, the plugs, and the light fixtures, which are hanging in the back, you don't see them easily here. All of that would be, again, sourced in North America, and then they would assemble the machines once they got here for sale. Singer was good about utilizing factories around the world. One of the things I have not yet done is check the serial numbers. Serial numbers on these can be found on a lovely brass plate that is, it was there. I mean, and even the little plate here saying it's a 99K was riveted on. They meant business back in the day. What thing you might not, I don't know if any of you have noticed this, there is a difference which tells me these two machines, although they have the same style bobbin winder, they were likely, let's take the pressure off of these springs. Springs like to take a rest when you're not using them. Even though the bobbin winders are the same, there's a slight difference here. Notice that both of the machines have back tack. This machine has 2 slots here, and this one has 1. So I believe it's because this machine on the left, you can set your stitch length. You can, of course, go into reverse. That was the big deal when this came out, because this little machine had been in production a long time when you did not have reverse, but this one did. And then, but notice, you can't really lock in the lever. Most of the time for most sewing, given the way these machines, they're so hefty, you normally don't need this feature. However, later they added this. Yes, this machine has back tacking. It has a stitch length adjustment, just like this one does. But this one, there's when you're wanting to move the lever, you can go counterclockwise. But this has a knurled knob that you turn to the right to set. So if I want to set a certain stitch length, I turn the knob and I can lock it in. This is to prevent the machine from starting to hop and give you inconsistent stitches in terms of the length of the stitch. Typically, if that happens at all, it normally will happen when you have some very heavy fabrics or many layers and the machine is really having to crank. That can sometimes throw off your stitch length. And people said, hey, I don't want that to happen. I'm sewing denim or I'm sewing canvas or whatever. And so this was, again, a later addition. So don't count on this being exact, but I'm going to check. But I'm going to take a guess, and let's see if I'm right. When I check the serial number for the machine on the right, the one that was treated with a lot less love than the one on the left, I'm going to check. I'm willing to bet that the serial number for the one on the right came later, because they later added this feature to let you lock in your stitch. That's a guess. I promise I haven't looked them up yet. First, the original, I've actually made videos on the earlier 99s I've restored, where there's just a big giant knob that you can turn to roughly adjust your stitch length, and that's it. No built-in reverse. You had to stop and turn the fabric around, but that happened for decades and decades before reverse got to be a thing. So Singer was good about updating their machines, keeping the old designs in production. And anyway, the next time you go looking for sewing machines and you want a vintage machine to restore, and you have a choice, is it pretty? Is it kind of haggard looking here? Take inventory, inspect the machine as best you can. While we don't ever assume that something with a gorgeous paint finish is in perfect shape, because you will discover that you can be fooled by that. I can tell you that in terms of time, on average, the amount of time that you will spend restoring a machine that looks as if it was well cared for can be less hassle than the one that basically was treated, with less respect, shall we say. So anyway, that is my take on when you're purchasing a machine. Don't always, the old saying, penny wise, pound foolish. And in this case, I'm hoping it will help me, although I obviously am going to be putting a new plug and wire on this one. But once I get into the machines, I'll make some videos. I'll show all of you what I'm finding. But again, there are reasons that you see sewing machines appear over and over again on my channel. And if you hadn't figured it out already, there's certain machines that are go-to machines for me. If I have a choice, I'm going to pick certain ones because either they are simple to restore relatively, or they are simply just so darn reliable. And again, the clients I find for these, the buyers, always tell me that this machine works great for the projects that they sew. Thank you for watching, everyone. You have been watching me cover two Singers from the same factory. Came out at different times. I believe I can restore both and find new owners for both. And the one on the right will certainly not look like this when I'm done. But if you just want a machine to fix up for yourself, take some time. Be a discerning buyer. Kick the tires, as they say. And we will see you in the next video.